The mystery of two young Nova Scotia children missing for more than 6 weeks. After painstaking searches and hundreds of tips, still no trace.
It's the biggest search I've been involved in. I've never seen two missing children go at the same time.
Officials perplexed and a community worried. Kayla Hounsell spoke with family members, the RCMP, and search crews to break down what we know so far.
Break it down.
Are you able to authorize and start getting some search teams going to the Gerlach location?
Radio chatter. Search crews and first responders mobilizing in a quest no one dreamed would take this long.
Hear that? Are you authorized to look there? They already felt like, this is going nowhere. Let's go back there to the house.
Just make sure mom stays close to the house there in case they happen to sneak out and get back into the house.
A home deep in rural Nova Scotia, 140 kilometers northeast of Halifax, the last known location.
A
Yeah.
lot of area to cover around the sticks here.
Not one, but two missing children. A dog that barks at everything, a mother who left on the second day,
A dog that barks at everything. Really? So they couldn't wake up. They would... And they're trying to make you think that the kids walked out and somebody just picked them up, right? They wanted you to think that at 3 Celsius, less than 40 Fahrenheit, the kids walked out there without their coats. There was no abduction. And they didn't wander off. The only place where something happened was in that particular room, where she said the next thing we knew the room was quiet. In that particular room is where it happened.
father who hasn't seen the kids in 3 years, and a stepfather trying to piece things together.
It's been a long 6 weeks.
Yeah?
I know that everybody basically in the world at this point is always wanting to know what happened.
Yep, he's overwhelmed by the attention this case is getting, for sure. Everybody in the world. He's worried about everybody in the world. So let's see when he gets to being worried about Jack and Lilly.
The mystery of what happened to 6-year-old Lilly Mae Sullivan and her 4-year-old brother, Jack William James Sullivan, is indeed gripping the country.
Please, I hate to do this, but I'm gonna rewind.
On the second day, a father who hasn't seen the kids in 3 years, and a stepfather trying to piece things together.
Listen, and a stepfather, sorry.
It's been a long 6 weeks. I know that everybody
I know.
basically in the world at this point is always wanting to know what happened.
Always wanted to know. Always want to know what happened. Isn't that an interesting choice of words? These people always want to know what happened to Jack and Lilly. He is annoyed by that. These people, we, won't let go. And he knows it. And it's been a very long 6 weeks. And he is focused on the people who always want to know everything. Who talk about the kids, who don't let go, who talk about him. Because he doesn't talk about the children. He only talks about himself.
The mystery of what happened to 6-year-old Lilly Mae Sullivan and her 4-year-old brother, Jack William James Sullivan, is indeed gripping the country and beyond. It is Friday, May 2nd. Martell and his partner, Malaya Brooks Murray, the children's mother, are having a lazy morning with their baby. Lilly and Jack are in the kitchen alone.
And that's why Daniel said, I don't really want to talk to YouTubers because YouTube isn't regulated. And he even said there are people with millions of subscribers or channels. If your child is missing, you will jump on there. And you don't care what they think about you, even if they accuse you. You will say, I didn't do it. I had nothing to do with it. A reliable denial he was unable to give. And you would make it extremely clear. You wouldn't say, brag about volunteering for a polygraph, which I don't believe he did. But you wouldn't even make that something that makes it onto an interview unless you're asked about it, or unless it's a footnote by the way, I passed the polygraph, or I volunteered for it, or I said yes, or something like that. But to him, it's a priority to clear himself and nothing anymore about Jack and Lilly.
Malaya and baby were asleep. Lilly came in multiple times. I was not in deep sleep by any means. And then about 20 minutes passed, and then when I woke up, Malaya was right beside me. She was still asleep. And I said, I don't hear Lilly and Jack.
The time, no one.
Malaya was asleep. Didn't Malaya say that she told her partner Daniel, do you hear the children? That she was the initiator. Let's hear this crap again.
Malaya and baby were asleep. Lilly came in multiple times. I was not in deep sleep by any means.
And suddenly they came in. No, that's not what you told us the first time. You said Jack was out. Pause. In the kitchen. Jack didn't come in. You said Lilly came in multiple times. He is now trying to change the story. And yes, I had a very strange comment recently that I believe could have been actually from him or somebody who knows him. And I know I have people watching who know him. So if he is not able to understand what I'm talking about, I believe there are people around him who may advise him. You need to change these wordings. See, Katie Proudfoot for sure watched my channel, and she adjusted everything based on my channel. Though others try to claim the same thing, but I know for a fact that there are certain aspects that only I have pointed out, and Katie went for it. These people want to know, how do I come off to the public? These people are not interested in finding their children because they already know what has happened to their children. They are interested in what is being said about them. What does the whole world say? Because they are always, it means people are not letting go. He feels overwhelmed, and now he's trying to do some damage control. What should I do differently? Maybe Logan is the one doing it. But Logan is a little bit smarter than him, and she thinks she is so much... she feels like she has a moral authority to put Malaya in line. Let's say it like this. Yeah, there's a lot more about Logan's interview that I'm going to get into. A lot more people, a lot more. Logan said so much because she feels free. She feels like she is above these people. She may have a regular career or a better life, or she lives in a nice house, who knows. But she feels like, okay, let me take charge and protect my little cousin here, because he obviously doesn't know what he's doing. And so me, the bright Logan, is gonna take over and solve it. But she can't. The only thing that she does is to reveal more and more what actually really happened and when the argument really happened with Malaya's family, because they didn't kick them off the properties. They wanted to look like that. But they were back. There was Friday, and then they were back on Saturday. Oh, okay, now I'm getting more and more from you guys. Sorry. Let me see real quickly.
Are you able to authorize and start getting some search teams going to the Gerlach location?
Radio chatter, search crews and first responders mobilizing in a quest no one dreamed
So I just gotten this one, and I'm doing it because I want to have YouTube's closed caption running at the same time.
would take this long.
Make sure mom stays close to the house there in case they happen to sneak out and get back into the house.
A home deep in rural Nova Scotia, 140 kilometers northeast of Halifax, the last known location.
A lot of area to cover. We're out in sticks here.
Not one, but two missing children. A dog that barks at everything, a mother who left on the second day, a father who hasn't seen the kids in 3 years, and a stepfather trying to piece things together.
It's been a long 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I know that everybody basically in the world at this point is...
I know. He knows, right? He knows because that's his focus. His focus is the general public and only the general public. If you had your child missing for only 20 or 30 seconds ever, as I did, you will understand that in this moment the whole world can kiss your ass. And you wouldn't care whatsoever about anything or anybody, because in this moment the part of you is missing. And there is nothing you would be able to say. Everything is unimportant to you. Everything. Nothing is important. Nothing even registers. And you realize that your life, your existence is worthless. Absolutely worthless without your child. You feel like that, and you're not able to even people are talking around you, it registers with you, but you don't. This alone, I mean, Daniel is just he has more red flags than a Chinese military parade. I mean, this dude, we are actually starting to get desensitized, same like with Chris Proudfoot, because and Katie, and there are so many red flags happening that we get used to it. Yeah, that's just Chris. You know what I mean? No. We need to not forget. We need to keep track on every single thing and not let it go. And that's the problem also in the case of Sebastian Rogers I'm seeing. That's why the case is cold. And I don't care how many people talk about hope and no. The case is cold and the case will be cold. And one of the three parents needs to change his approach and go for it. So let's see.
Always wanted to know, like, what happened.
Always wanted to know, like, what happened. Why the hell wouldn't we want to know? He knows. What he's telling us is these people are so damn nosy. These people get in my business. They try to understand what really happened. And he has a problem with that. And look at his facial expression here again. Where's your fake crying?
If you look younger than your age,
I do.
You might
Thank
be one
you.
of us.
No, I'm
if
not.
You've never broken a...
Okay, bye.
The mystery of what happened to 6-year-old Lilly Mae Sullivan and her 4-year-old brother, Jack William James Sullivan, is indeed gripping the country and...
So I took a little break and I figured, you know what? There is a lot more to dive into related to what I've already gotten into, and the deep dive is where it's at. But I wanted to see what is next. I know that until I start my members only section with the classes, that's where we're going to get deep into it. But I know that some people get, and I understand it, of course, that people have their lives. Everybody has their lives. We all have our issues in life here and there, but none of them, like Logan would say, every relationship has issues. Yeah, but not every relationship, every family has CPS called on them. Yes, I had issues, but I never had CPS called on me. Ever. I never had anybody call on me and my children. Ever. And so this Logan interview is so absolutely blatant. But again, she thinks she's doing really well. She thinks, well, I'm smarter than my cousin Daniel and he needs my help. So I'm going to be the superhero right now and set them all straight, because she, again, that's her pattern. And she probably grew up with people who were not bright enough to see through her. That's why she's very confident when she goes on the TikTok channel. And she feels like, and of course, these TikTokers, except that one guy, there was one guy in there and he was a little bit shy about it, or not shy, but he was probably holding his tongue a lot. But he asked some good questions, he interjected. But he probably was told, listen, let's just be nice to her, okay? I know you have your suspicions, but be nice to her because we want her to be on our channel. We want people to share it. And so, similar to that other channel where, Daniel communicated with one of them via private messages. But of course, I pointed it out and I said, it's enough now, right? It's one thing to be nice to him, but it's another thing to tell your audience they are supposed to be in support of him simply because he was so quote unquote nice enough to speak to you. If I was to interview Daniel, I would be extremely nice to him. Not overly nice, but extremely is actually not the right term, because I wouldn't be able to be that. I would be extremely neutral with him. I have 5 questions ready for him. What do you remember? What do you know? Peter Hyatt's favorite one was always, tell me what happened. But I don't always use that one. I often, I want to avoid, in some cases I want to avoid somebody using even that to be on the defensive and say, what do you mean? I wasn't even there. Not necessarily in this case, of course, but I like to ask what happened. But I also like, what do you remember? And many times they will tell you nothing. Oh, except, and then they tell you something that reveals what their priorities are and what their intentions are, because they see an opportunity to maybe, to maybe shift the blame elsewhere. So if you ask somebody who calls 911, by the way, 911 calls are the best ones to analyze because there's no question, and you allow. By the way, there's a major celebrity whose 911 call I have not touched yet because I was advised not to. I don't know if I'll ever do it, but I'm very selective here. I'm very much into. Trust me, once you're going to get into my classes, if you do, you're going to see the whole world through different eyes, because you're going to realize more and more where the real stories are. Even if people are only a little bit deceptive, you can tell what they are hiding and what the truth is and what it leads towards. So my question would be, what do you remember? And again, in a case, for example, like if somebody's wife has been killed, you say, what do you remember? Nothing. I just got home. Oh, but there was this neighbor who sometimes walks around and he looks at my wife and this, and many times when they go into an area where, and this is too much to talk about right now, sorry guys, but my mind is always on different cases, even though this is priority now. So watch my older videos if you're interested in it. Let me try to keep it short now.
And beyond. It is Friday, May 2nd. Martell and his partner, Malaya Brooks Murray, the children's mother, are having a lazy morning with their baby. Lilly.
BS, controlled media, BS, regulated, as Daniel calls it, regulated. That's why he doesn't want to go on YouTube. No. They are there. They are telling stories here. And many of these media outlets start their segments with the kids walked off or they walked out. No, they did not. And it wasn't a lazy morning at all. Because that night, Daniel took off. He came back when the sun hadn't been up for that long.
Lilly and Jack are in the kitchen alone.
Malaya and the baby were asleep. Lilly came in multiple
Lilly came in multiple times, okay?
times. I was not in deep sleep by any means. And then about 20 minutes passed, and then
Okay, good. So he says Lilly came in multiple times. Okay, he's not changing it.
when I woke up, Malaya was right beside me. She was still asleep.
But that part is very interesting.
And then when I woke up, Malaya and the baby were asleep. Lilly came in.
Malaya and baby. His focus is Malaya. Baby has a name. Lilly came in. Sorry about that. Lilly came in multiple times. Yes, I agree with you, but not that morning. Before she did, at the very critical point.
Multiple times. I was not in deep sleep by any means.
Right. Because suddenly the story changes to him being aware of quite a few things. Because that will allow him to control the narrative a little bit better.
And then about 20 minutes passed, and then when I woke up, Malaya was right beside me.
Malaya was right beside him.
She was still asleep.
Okay.
And I said, I don't hear Lilly and Jack.
BS. Well, did she ask you? She said, I tell my partner, I tell him, my partner Daniel, do you hear the children? He said no. So now he makes it sound like he is the initiator here.
The time, no one will say for sure, but police say it was around 10 a.m. when they got a 911 call.
I ran up in the woods to the kids. They have cabins up in the woods.
I haven't heard about this before, that they have cabins up in the woods. To the kids. He ran to the kids. Oh, I'm going to have to do a much longer one about this one.
Call.
I ran up in the woods to the kids. They have cabins.
He ran to the kids.
Cabins up in the woods, which only took me like 30 seconds.
What? 30 seconds. Remember Katie Proudfoot telling us 1 minute flat. She searched the whole house. Yeah,
Came right back down. She was on the phone with the RCMP.
For 6 days, crews tackled an exhaustive search. The children's mother took the baby to be with her family in another part of the province. Her mother told CBC News the RCMP told them not to speak with news reporters. The RCMP says it just advised everyone to be mindful of the information they share publicly.
That's a big difference. I agree. So when parents are okay, yeah, I'm getting a lot of messages right now. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for not allowing me to miss anything here. I will not be much longer because I'm going to sit down and really get into his vocabulary. But I want to also see if I can. Okay, let's see. When police say to you, the RCMP says to you, be mindful, okay? Which still, I mean, why would you tell the parents of a missing child they need to be mindful? Unless there is a possible, I don't know. But the thing is that they are using be mindful as an excuse to say, I cannot talk about it. And this, of course, is very common with Chris Proudfoot. Because I would expect the parents of a missing child to be unable to be mindful. And maybe that's why police tells them, please be mindful, because they are not able to be, and they will say whatever is on their minds. And they will freak out physically. Not tell you that they're freaking out, but show it and try to hold back because they know they're on camera. Try to hold back their tears, not push for them.
On May 7th, police scaled back the search.
The probability of survival is taken into consideration.
But search crews returned for 2 more weekends until the end of May, searching wells, mine shafts, and septic systems, even flying a drone beneath the home.
The 4-year-old is wearing some blue dinosaur boots.
Police say they found a boot print. And listen to this in the radio chatter.
Please.
Families brought us to a location there, not far away, that there's a piece of a blanket.
Police won't say anything about a blanket, but Martell says a piece of Lilly's blanket was found near the boot print. He says both children may have undiagnosed autism.
But didn't he say also that's not her blanket, but Malaya said it is his blanket? Did he change his story now about that? Because that part is very interesting, right? Of course, it could have been left there from, maybe they did excursions before, maybe Daniel took him out in the woods before, maybe it was left there at another time. But it could have, I would like to know exactly where. Was it close to a roadway? Maybe they were transported away and maybe something was dropped, like Sebastian's glasses.
For a lot of people.
No, they don't have undiagnosed. Jesus Christ, man. And yes, use his name in vain. I get your comment. Sorry about that. But listen to this crap. Who diagnosed them? They have undiagnosed autism. Are you crazy? Daniel is a doctor now and he's suddenly able to diagnose autism. Oh, well, they haven't been officially diagnosed, but I know they have it. No, they are held back in school because of their chaotic home life. And you said yourself, Malaya didn't take care of them. Logan said it's only meadow. And you, Daniel, I'm sorry, you can't even spell correctly. How are you going to teach these kids anything? My guess is, Daniel, you grew up similarly to where you were not really that good in school. And you think that's normal. And no, he doesn't type well for a male. What BS. Well, maybe the males that you hang out with. Okay, sad. But he is trying now very hard to play this autism card. And that is often done by parents who do victim blaming. And they want to put themselves in the position of a parent who had this curse of having to deal with an autistic child, so to speak. Right? You guys don't know what I've been through. I'm a wonderful father, but these kids have a genetic disorder, so to speak. And I still don't believe Sebastian had a chromosome missing or whatever they're trying to tell you. I want to see that. I want to see the evidence of that. I don't care if Seth that is either. I don't care about any of these three parents, what they say. Any of them. I want to know the facts about Sebastian, as I want to know the facts about the kids here. They didn't have undiagnosed autism. They were very outgoing. They were anything but autistic, but they were wired with Malaya, unless they were very disciplined with him. But why were they so disciplined with him? Did you beat them? Were they scared of you? Nonsense. Nonsense. This is when a parent doesn't want to take responsibility for the fact that the children are not doing well as the others. They make it sound like this is a genetic disorder that they were plagued with. And they tried their best. We did our best. But this autism, man. Oh, what a coincidence. Both of them had autism. Both of them. Both of them couldn't do well in school. Yeah, school was probably the only place where they learned anything. At home, absolutely zip.
This story just sounds odd.
Uh-huh. Okay, good question. Look at this dude.
Do you understand that?
Yes, I do. And I see it every day online.
Ah, it doesn't sound odd to you, right, Daniel? Because in your own limited brain, you came up with a really good story that should be airtight. The only problem is you're not in a local bar trying to convince a bunch of dudes like you, and they're going home, yeah, okay, Daniel's a good guy. He's all right, man. Daniel, come on. Just like these two chicks who did this, who got these private messages. They're like, they bought it immediately. Yeah, he's a nice guy. We need to support him. And yeah, they complained about what I had to say, but come on, somebody has to do it here. I still have people telling me, oh, I cannot share your videos because you said something about Seth. Then don't tell me in private either. I don't want to read your private emails if you don't have the balls to share my videos because somebody else told you not to. Cowards. Seriously. Just like the people, neighbor Bobby and all these people in the neighborhood where Sebastian used to live who are hiding. They're scared and intimidated. Same thing. You see, I normally, I blame the general public all the time for most things, even when it comes to political issues. I don't blame the specific politicians. I blame the enablers. I blame the enablers who have so much so-called hope and wishful thinking that they think they are choosing wisely and then complain when it doesn't take place. We have to be responsible for ourselves here when it comes to statement analysis. And yes, I thank you guys for the comments that, I'm the only one doing it for them, for the kids, without the hoopla. But please share my video. Let people know. I see it every day online. He is avoiding to tell you. This is avoidance, people. Major avoidance. And now he's being dismissive towards people online. Ain't it something? He's blaming the victims for their autism, and he's blaming the people online.
He's keenly aware the public suspects him, says the police did too at the start.
Of course.
I thought you told us that everybody knows you had nothing to do with it. Oh, at the start they did, but now, you see, whenever he speaks for the police, he is really speaking to the public.
Of course.
As in, you have no right to suspect me, because supposedly, police doesn't suspect me at all.
The stepfather was always a prime suspect right off the beginning.
BS. The stepfather is not... You are the prime suspect. It's the same when Malaya says, as a mother. No, we're talking about you right now. Not the stepfather in general. We're talking about you, Daniel. Again, avoidance.
So he offered to take a polygraph test.
Did he?
I was extremely nervous.
He was extremely nervous with the polygraph. I believe you, actually. I believe you, dude.
Especially with the first question I asked you, did you kill Lilly and Jack?
That was the first question.
And you were nervous about that? I would scream no. No. No, I didn't. Next question. What do you want to know?
I asked you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did you find out the result of your test?
Immediately right after.
What did they say to you?
You did a good job, you passed.
You did a good job. Really? Is this an entry exam for university? What do you mean you did a good job? You passed.
Hi, Kayla. How you doing?
The RCMP's Corporal Guillaume Tremblay is not an investigating officer, but he speaks for the force in Nova Scotia.
You know, it's quite rare that in my career I've never seen two missing children go at the same time.
Was anything found in any of these searches that was deemed to be of significance? Even if you can't tell me what it was, anything of significance?
So I can tell you that the investigation's ongoing and that we haven't found any evidence to show that there was an adoption of the children.
Okay. He is telling you what didn't happen because that's what he wants you to focus on right now in terms of eliminating, false theories. But he doesn't want to go into who the prime suspect is. And he needs to follow the procedure because from what I was told, there were several cases in Canada where case had to be dismissed simply because the procedure was not proper. So at times, police will show deception when they give public statements simply because, or they will show severe avoidance, but that's not because they are like the TBI or they want to like Craddock, but they simply want to make sure that this case is really going to be solved properly.
So you don't think they were abducted, but you can't find them. How do two young children just vanish?
That's a great question, Kayla. And we are asking for the public for tips and information.
He says the force has received close to 500 tips, some that have taken them elsewhere in the country. But the only confirmed sighting of Jack and Lilly was the day before they disappeared in Nova Scotia. Martell says the children were seen on camera with the whole family. Still, police are asking for trail camera footage in the area dating back 5 days. They say they're trying to establish a timeline in the lead up to the disappearance.
So when teams are tasked, they get a bearing.
Crews have searched around 8.5 square kilometers.
Coming up through all of this stuff.
Amy Hansen has been the search manager for most of that. She's taking us into the woods to show us what her team has been dealing with.
The vast majority of it was probably from Fiona.
Downed trees from post-tropical storm Fiona 3 years ago.
This is actually fairly mild compared to some of the areas.
Over a total of 10 days, they searched for 12,000.
Yeah, so no 4-year-old can get through this in 20 minutes.
Hours.
It's pretty much unheard of in this province. It's the biggest search I've been involved in.
Of
And
course.
she's been at this 22 years.
Do you think those kids are in the woods?
No.
From everything I've seen, yes.
Why can't you find them?
What?
They're small. They'd be hiding. They would have crawled underneath something probably when they got tired.
Idiot. 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 Lie. Wrong. That's why we do what we do. Because we don't want to rely on people who have only their own little box to operate within and don't have a mind to actually investigate properly and see the big picture.
They could have gone further than what we searched.
No.
There's all kinds of scenarios, unfortunately.
And that's playing heavily on the mind of this woman, Lilly and Jack's paternal
She is trying to get herself ready for the interview, people. Look at that. She can't help but bawling her eyes out. And this affects me. And this is when I also have to trust my intuition and say, when something impacts me like this does right now, just to see her, yeah, this woman has no idea what happened. And she mentioned her Lilly because for years she hadn't seen Jack since he was she was connected at one time with Lilly, right? I think from a year and a half or something they haven't seen the children, and how old was, so she had already a connection with then 4-year-old Lilly. That's why she mentioned Lilly first, or only Lilly. I want my Lilly back, something like that, right?
grandmother.
Their smiles are just beautiful.
She hadn't seen the children in nearly 2 years.
2 years.
A relationship left complicated after her son, their biological father,
So yeah, she doesn't really remember that much of Jack. So it's not a red flag that she only mentioned Lilly before.
chose to stay out of their lives. She says he has been questioned by police 3 times.
A couple of days ago, they had contact and they told him that they weren't looking his way anymore, that everything's fine.
Yeah.
She says
I
she
believe
joined
you.
the search herself as soon as she heard Lilly and Jack were missing.
I believe you. That was a reliable statement that they suspected her son, the biological father, at first, and they interrogated him supposedly also for 4 hours, but he is cleared. And I believe you. There was a reliable statement right here.
She doesn't believe the children are in the woods.
Of course not.
There's no reason for any child to wander deep into the woods. There's just not.
The brush is just too thick.
It is way too thick.
Thank you.
Way too thick.
Tonight is about saying a prayer.
She attended a vigil in Pictou County marking 1 month since the children went missing and says she feels the support of the community and beyond.
Yeah.
Well, these are everybody's grandchildren. They're not just mine now.
And she says it because she has a desire, she has a need for support. That means everything to her right now because she, that comfort she needs right now from the public.
She clings to cherished keepsakes.
This is Lily's handprint.
Wow.
She is pleading for any information that could provide answers.
There is nothing more pure and innocent than a 6 and a 4-year-old.
Right.
And they deserve so much better than what they got.
Yep. And what they had. And remember, she passed on the private messages with Malaya. So I don't know what exactly she suspects. But she is like, listen, here, you can have those. Look at her. Look at what she, and I'm happy that she did that.
She keeps her mind occupied spending time in the garden, surrounded by hummingbirds. Symbols of hope, though she admits now that so much time has passed, she doesn't have much hope the children will be found alive, and even worries the mystery of what happened to them may never be solved.
Yeah, except I think that it's going to be, because the public is getting to see more and more. And listen, guys, I'm going to close this right now, and thank you for sending it my way immediately. I am going to get deeper and deeper into this and make another video in a few hours about this particular video, because there are a few more things that I need to get deeper into. Thank you for watching. I'm Mike the Man. Please share this video now. Don't think about it. Share it.